Nordson Corporation is proud to continue to invest in educational opportunities through our sponsorship of Academic Challenge. Nordson is a global leader in precision technology solutions with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. To date, Nordson and the Nordson Corporation Foundation have donated nearly $173 million to charities, awarded $7.5 million in scholarships, and our employees have logged more than 117,000 volunteer hours. Thank you for watching Academic Challenge. Best of luck to all the participants.
Here we go. This week, teams from
Mayfield,
St. Joseph Academy,
Twinsburg.
compete on the Nordson Academic Challenge. All righty. Here we go, and we welcome you to the Nordson Academic Challenge. I'm your host, Rob Powers. We're so glad you're with us tonight. For the next 30 minutes, our players will be tested on their knowledge of subjects like math, science, history, a few others as well. One more time, let's hear it for our teams from Mayfield, St. Joseph Academy, and Twinsburg. Let's take a look at the leaderboard right now. These are the scores you're going to need to beat this morning. Keep in mind, by the end of the season, 60 area high school teams will have competed. The 3 highest scoring teams are back to play in our 57th championship game to try to win the top prize of $6,000 for their school, awarded by our friends at Nordson. So, let's get going. Here comes the lightning round. All 3 teams compete in this round. I ask 10 questions. They have a common theme. We award 20 points for a correct answer. We will take away 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. Let's start every team here with 100 points. Thank you very much. Hands on your buzzers. All set. Crossing your T's. All your answers here have a double T somewhere. 2 T's together as in the word bottle. Got it? Here we go. This is the largest city in Washington State. Mayfield.
Seattle.
That is correct. American League Baseball teams have this designated player in their lineup. Twinsburg.
Hitter.
That is correct. The Diamondback is one variety of this venomous Mayfield.
Rattlesnake.
That is correct. The first name of this suffragette was Lucretia. St. Joe's Academy.
Mott,
That is correct. In the orchestra, it's another name for the timpani. Answer is kettle drum. This was the project to build the first U.S. atom bomb. Twinsburg.
Manhattan Project.
That is correct. The NBA Hornets are located in this Twinsburg.
Charlotte.
That is correct. These 3 animals lost their mittens in a nursery rhyme. Twinsburg.
Kittens.
That is correct. This element has the chemical symbol Y. St. Joe's.
Yttrium,
Yttrium is correct. For our final lightning round question, let's check in with Dr. Rebecca Rischalte, president of the Western Campus of Cuyahoga Community College.
Agriculture has always been of critical importance, including this white crop that was once king of the South.
Twinsburg.
Cotton.
Cotton is right. That's the end of our opening round. Good job, everybody. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this quick timeout. Challenge. If you'd like any information about any of the schools that appear on this season's in this season, scan the QR code you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen there with your cell phone. That code takes you to the news5cleveland.com academic challenge page. We have links for every one of our schools' websites right there for you. For us, it's time to play Hot Picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions picked by the captain from another team. Correct answers here worth 20 points, but don't worry, there's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly in this round will receive 25 bonus points. But before we get to the questions, let's meet the members of our team. We start with Mayfield. We start with the captain, Vince. Vince, welcome. Tell us about yourself.
I am the varsity captain of the cross-country team, which I've been running for 6 years, and I'm a member of NHS.
Great. Thanks for being here this morning. Chris, you're up.
Hi, my name is Krish. I'm a senior at Mayfield High School, and I've been a part of varsity tennis for 4 years, and I'm currently the captain, and I'm also the vice president of Mayfield Model UN.
Good for you. Purva, let's hear about you.
Hi, my name is Purva Punyam, and I'm a senior, and I'm the captain of Science Olympiad and the founder of Crochet Club.
Mayfield High School, welcome this morning. For your questions, we go to Abby, the St. Joseph Academy captain. Abby, open board, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
2.
You got it. Okay, a reminder, Mayfield, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. Poet John Donne asks his reader to go and catch what falling celestial body of which Betelgeuse and Polaris are examples. Answer?
Stars.
That is correct. Thomas Jefferson began the Louisiana Purchase negotiations in order to end French control over what Louisiana city critical to American interests?
Baton Rouge.
New Orleans. New Orleans is the answer. Today, toy soldiers are made of plastic, but a century ago, they were made of what metal whose chemical symbol is SN?
Tin.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Some hydrates are so unstable they lose water to the atmosphere even at room temperature. This process is referred to by which of these terms?
Condensation.
Efflorescence is the answer there. In 1923, when Turkey was declared a republic, the country's capital was transferred from Istanbul to what other city? Answer?
Ankara.
Ankara is correct. Shakespeare used the words ding dong bell for Ariel's song in which of his plays, named for a raging storm?
The Tempest.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. If A equals 4, what is the value of this expression?
1.
That is correct. Slavery, not religion, was the focus of the 1831 Baptist War, fought in what Caribbean country where tourists now enjoy the sunshine at Montego Bay?
Jamaica.
That is it. Way to go, Mayfield. Next round. Okay. Our second team today comes to us from St. Joseph Academy. Let's hear from the ladies here. Abby, you are up. Congratulations on being the captain of your team.
Thank you. I'm a senior at St. Joseph Academy. I'm our school's National Honor Society president, and I'd like to thank our moderators, Mr. Roldi and Mrs. Garlock, for coming out tonight.
Good job. Hi, Maria. Good morning.
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm a senior. I'm involved in the school newspaper and academic challenge, and we'd like to thank all of the parents and family that are here.
Good for you. Hi, Maya.
Hi, I'm a senior at St. Joseph Academy. I'm president of the Health Science Honors Program. I run track and cross country, and I'd like to thank our alternates, Agnes and Una, for coming out tonight.
And we have seen all three of you here in our studio before, have we not? Welcome back. For your questions, we go to Jack, the Twinsburg captain. Jack, you have envelope 1, 3, or 4?
4.
You got it. Okay, St. Joseph Academy, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. The title of one Charles Dickens story places on the hearth what type of insect, the same as Jiminy in the movie Pinocchio?
Cricket?
Of course it is. For his victory parade through ancient Rome, a general would put aside the armor and wear what traditional clothing of a Roman citizen?
Toga?
That is correct. The poet Lord Byron liked to buy his clothes in bulk with a typical order involving how many vests equaling 2 squared times 6?
24.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Alternating current may easily be raised to higher voltages. Which increase in voltage would be accomplished by, this increase in voltage would be accomplished by which of these?
The transformer?
That is correct. Terpsichore and Thalia were two of what 9 mythical figures who presided over such subjects as poetry and astronomy?
The Muses?
That is correct. The fictional sub-Nautilus really went the distance as it traveled how many leagues under the sea, according to the title of Jules Verne's novel?
20,000.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Simplify completely this expression.
2x minus 5.
Or minus 5 plus 2x. You are correct. Neanderthals, that was big. This is for the bonus, by the way. Neanderthals may have learned to make jewelry from human beings who coexisted with them over 40,000 years ago. In what European country where Sofia is the capital?
Bulgaria?
Bulgaria is correct for the bonus points. Nice round, St. Joseph Academy. And that gets us to Twinsburg, our third team today. Jack, you're the captain. Congratulations on that. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. I'm Jack. I'm a senior at Twinsburg. I'm a violinist in the orchestra, and I'd like to thank Mr. Ripple for helping us get here today.
Nicely done. Anish, you are up.
Hi, I'm a junior at Twinsburg. I'm in NHS orchestra, track and field. I'd like to thank my family, our alternates, my advisor, and the Cleveland Barber.
There you go. Tyler, you are now up.
I'm a violist in the orchestra, and I plan to go to college to study the sciences.
All three of you welcome. In fact, all 9 of you welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Your questions, Twinsburg, come courtesy of Vince, the captain from Mayfield. Vince, 1 or 3?
We're going to go with 1.
You got it. All right, Twinsburg, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. The fact that lovebirds can rotate their heads 2,700 degrees a second has attracted the attention of engineers focused on camera rotation in what kind of unmanned aircraft, such as the Black Falcon?
Drones.
That is correct. Despite the island's name, a sheet of ice covers almost what? Of what Danish island, the largest in the world?
Greenland.
That is correct. Alexander Pushkin once wrote about a queen of spades, but what red playing card queen did Lewis Carroll write about in Alice in Wonderland?
The Queen of Hearts.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Sodium metal may be prepared from the electrolysis of what compound that makes up 0.9% of blood and body cells?
Sodium hydroxide.
Sodium chloride, sorry. After studying the new daguerreotype photography, inventor Samuel Morse trained what famed Civil War photographer in that technique? Answer?
Adams.
Brady. Matthew Brady is the answer. One of the Italians who fought in the 13th century Battle of Campaldino was what man better known as the author of the Divine Comedy?
Dante Alighieri.
That is correct. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. We ask you to solve for X.
Six.
6 is correct. The blue stripe in the flag of Laos represents what major river that forms part of the border between Laos and Thailand?
The Yellow River.
The Mekong River. Mekong. Hey, great round, everybody. Nice job. Woo! We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this.
Morning, Cleveland.
Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Look who's here from Cuyahoga Community College. It's instructional specialist Michael Lampton. Mike, I'm going to say hello to you in person this time, man. I see you just about every other week. Great to have you here. All right. Welcome back. Before we continue with the next round, let's take a look at the scores so far. It's a tight game right now. Third place, Mayfield, 260. 300 for Twinsburg in second place. Leading the way right now, St. Joseph Academy with 325. Hold on. Time now for the picture perfect round. All three teams compete in this round. I asked 8 questions. They all have a picture clue. For every correct answer, we award 20 points, but for a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. So hands on the buzzers, eyes on the big monitor. All set? Let's go. This South American woman is leading a llama, an animal that, like the alpaca, is closely related to what Mideast pack animal, sometimes called St. Joe's?
Camel.
That is correct. Forms of the same element having different... St. Joe's.
Isotopic.
One more time.
Isotopic.
Allotropic. Allotropic. This 19th century painting depicts the death of what Shakespeare character driven mad by the murder of her father Polonius and her Twinsburg?
Ophelia.
That is correct. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as an integer. Mayfield.
2.
20. 20 is the answer. In this old Currier and Ives print, carriages are being driven through what large park in the middle of Manhattan? Twinsburg.
Central Park.
That is correct. Choice. This World War II poster was the work of what American artist? N.C. Wyeth, Gilbert Stuart, or Thomas Gainsborough? Answer is N.C. Wyeth. This is Monet's depiction of the old fort at Antibes on what sea that separates France from Africa? Twinsburg.
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean is correct. It's an autumn wonderland on the cover of this edition of Cleveland Magazine, and while we love our state's parks, can you name America's first national park? Twinsburg.
Yellowstone.
That is correct. That's the end of that round. Don't go anywhere. We're going to mix it up again right after this.
Leave happy.
Welcome back to the big show. Let's welcome today's school advisors. From Mayfield, Christy Elias is back this morning. From St. Joseph Academy, Nick Raldi and Jill Garlock are here. And from Twinsburg High School, Matthew Ripple makes his appearance in the studio. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Time for us now to mix it up. One at a time, I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly in this round will receive 25 bonus points. First up, Mayfield. Ready to roll? These are all for you. By combining one word from each column here, you can name what kind of huge, very hot star that burns helium.
Blue Giant.
That is correct. This could have been a website for what athlete, the first African-American baseball player to play in the modern major leagues?
Jackie Robinson.
That is correct. This quote from an elderly comedian can be completed by adding the name of what salty Middle East sea, the lowest point on land on Earth?
Dead.
That is correct. By rearranging these letters, you can get what derogatory term for a Yankee who moved south after the Civil War and was nicknamed for the luggage he carried? Answer?
No answer.
Carpetbagger. Carpetbagger. Which of these words refers to the open grazing areas found in South Africa?
Steps.
Veld. Veld is the answer there. This was the intelligent observation of what theoretical physicist who wrote A Brief History of Time? Answer?
Einstein.
Hawking. Stephen Hawking's the answer there. Mayfield, nice round. Good job. Okay. That gets us to St. Joseph Academy. Y'all ready? These are all for you. Here we go. By choosing one word from each column here, you can name what substances that are building blocks of protein.
Amino acids.
That is correct. This might be an away message, not from a dentist, but from what vampire who titles an 1897 novel by Bram Stoker?
Dracula.
That is correct. To complete this observation by author Saint-Exupéry, add what organ of the body that has auricles and ventricles?
Heart.
Yes, it is. You'll have something to crow about if you can rearrange these letters to name what British general who surrendered his forces at Yorktown in the Revolutionary War. Answer? Answer?
Smith.
Cornwallis. Cornwallis. There it is. Which one of these cities is located in Africa and is the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo?
Kinshasa.
That is correct. These were the words of what bold 17th and 18th century English scientist who discovered the laws of gravity?
Isaac Newton.
That is correct. Nice round, St. Joe's Academy. All righty. Here we go, Twinsburg. You are up. Set. Here we go. Combine one word from each column here. You can name what nasty little creature responsible for spreading malaria. Answer?
Irradiated mosquitoes.
Anopheles mosquitoes. Sorry about that. This might have been a website for what scientist who, with her husband Pierre, discovered radium and polonium?
Madame Curie.
That is correct. To complete this observation from a British diplomat, add what economic term referring to a period of rapidly rising prices?
Inflation.
That is correct. Rearrange these letters. You'll name what 19th century war named for a Black Sea peninsula?
Crimean.
That is correct. Which of these lakes, one of the deepest in the world, is located in Russia?
Lake Baikal.
That is correct. This assertion comes from what ancient Greek mathematician whose famous theorem states that a squared plus b squared equals c squared?
Pythagoras.
That is correct, and that is the end of that round. We are cruising. We'll be back with our final and deciding grab bag round right after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we get going, let's recap the scores right now. In third place, 300 points, it's Mayfield. In second place, with 470 points, St. Joseph Academy. Leading the way right now with 480 points is Twinsburg. Now, I know that looks a little different. We did have a scoring adjustment to make in the commercial break. These scores are correct. Time for us now to get to the grab bag round. All three teams compete in this round. I ask as many questions as time allows. For every correct answer, we award 30 points. Team will lose 30 points for a wrong or no answer. Again, this is for all three teams. Hands on the buzzers, eyes on the big monitor when we need it. All set? This is it. Let's go. Funeral expenses for Abraham Lincoln included $9 for what type of flowers, now the official national flower of the U.S.? Answer is rose. Rose. What trigonometric function is defined as the opposite side divided by the adjacent side in a right Twinsburg?
Tangent.
That is correct. In 2010, a group of trapped Chilean miners were successfully brought to the surface in a capsule named for what mythical bird reborn from its own Twinsburg?
Phoenix.
That is correct. According to the title of this Frederick Church landscape, it depicts a scene in what group of 6 northeastern states? Twinsburg.
Commonwealth.
New England states, sorry. In 1918, the Allies crashed through a German defense line named for what general, whose name was later given to the Zeppelin that burst into Twinsburg?
Hindenburg.
That is correct. If a baseball player gets just one hit in 8 official times at bat, what is his batting average for that period? Twinsburg.
.125.
That is correct. 39 different apartments were rented in Vienna, Austria by what German composer of 9 symphonies? Twinsburg.
Beethoven.
That is correct. This essay was written by what New York statesman who later became the first Chief Justice of the United Twinsburg?
Jay.
That is correct. There's supposedly $1 billion in 18th century treasure buried beneath the White Sands Missile Range in what southwestern state? St. Joseph.
New Mexico.
New Mexico is correct. In 1723, architect Sir Christopher Wren was buried in what London cathedral, whose design and construction he had supervised for 35 years? St. Joe's.
Westminster Abbey.
St. Paul's Cathedral is the answer there. The first hot air balloon created by the Montgolfier brothers were made of paper and what fabric woven from flax? Answer is linen. The toast, "Our country, right or wrong," was made by what American naval hero whose picture you see here? And that did buzz in. Go Twinsburg.
Perry.
Decatur is the answer. Decatur is the answer. So we take away the points for that answer, but that's the end of our game. We go to the scores, and here they are. In third place, 300 points, it's Mayfield. Second place with 470 points, St. Joseph Academy. And coming in with 600 points today, it's Twinsburg, the winner of today's academic challenge. Nice game. So be sure to join us next time right here. We'll feature teams from Brecksville, Broadview Heights, Garfield Heights, and Holy Name. Thanks for watching this one. I'm Rob Powers. Study hard. We'll see you right back here next week.